I hope you navigated the first week of the class pretty well. Um, we're going to sort of kick things into full gear now and really start progressing with the class. So um, you'll really need to focus a little bit more on the readings and making sure that all of the work is done on time. So I just want to go through this week with you and let you know what I'm looking for and what you should be expecting to complete. Last week we looked at Columbus and the Native Americans and started to sort of have a sense of what was in North America before the arrival of Europeans. This week we'll see the Europeans arrive and we'll see them begin colonization. So I'm going to want you to know the reasons why English colonists came to North America. And then I would like you to be able to differentiate between the English who settled in the Chesapeake. And when I'm talking about the Chesapeake, I'm talking about the colonies of Virginia and Maryland. And those are, Virginia is the first colony to get its establishment. And then I'd also like you to be able to distinguish between the Chesapeake and New England. If you've heard the term New England before, it's the same thing. We still call this area of the Northeast New England. The states that include Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. Those are the 6 states that represent New England. For us right now, New England is just going to be Massachusetts because that's the first colony that gets founded. Eventually, we're going to see Connecticut come into play, and then Rhode Island. And so when I'm talking New England, right now I'm talking about Massachusetts. When I'm talking about the Chesapeake, or you're reading about the Chesapeake, that is the colonies of Virginia and Maryland. You should be able to describe to me what the colony of Virginia is like, how the people make their money, who the people are, and be able to answer those same questions about Maryland and Massachusetts. In 1691, there is a breakout of witchcraft hysteria in Salem, Massachusetts, so I would like you to do some reading on that. That's going to come about in the colonial documents. But I also sort of want you to be looking out for disagreements at any time the colonists are disagreeing with one another, because your midterm exam that's coming up is going to ask you to detail what it is that the colonists are angry about, what it is that they're fighting about, and where are their disagreements coming from. So be paying very, very good attention to disagreements that the colonists are having. Um, Virginia and Maryland and Virginia and Maryland and New England are established, but then there's tremendous growth, and so um, when you start reading chapter 3, you'll notice that there is extensive growth, both out towards the western territories, but also southern, as colonists are expanding and having families and moving to new areas. And so I want you to pay attention to the new colonies that are developed, but also where the movement is happening. In chapter 3, we'll see the beginnings of English slavery in the colonies, and that will lead us to a discussion on Bacon's Rebellion. And then the last thing is I'd like you to be able to sort of put in perspective where the colonies are by 1750 and where that relates to where they began, where they are in 1750, and what life is like in England in 1750, and how life in the American colonies is the same and different from life in England. So this is the week 2 video that you're watching now. Please read chapters 2 and 3 out of the Foner textbook. This will be up for you shortly. It's a couple of primary source documents, and you'll be using those primary source documents to answer some of your questions and the reflection questions. But you'll also be using the ones related to the Salem witch trial to participate in this discussion here. What I would like you to do, you'll notice each week that you'll have usually a video or a podcast to watch. This week it's this lecture series, which is actually quite good. Unfortunately, there's no picture. It's just this. Now, please pay close attention here. As you can see, this lecture series is 18 hours long. I do not want you to listen to all 18 hours of this lecture series. Please do not listen to the entire thing. I am not expecting you to listen to this entire lecture series. If you look at the course page, I want you to listen to these 5 lectures, and I've indicated the times when they are here. So for example, for a lecture 5, it begins at the 2-hour, 3-minute, and 46-second mark. So if you're listening for lecture 5, you're going to forward ahead to the 2-hour, and 3-minute, and you can't always get it accurate, but we're about there. Maybe you want to back it up just a little bit to get
the next 200 years.
So you're going to have to sort of navigate yourself through the toolbar here. Do not listen to all 18 hours of this. It is interesting if you wanted to. It wouldn't be a bad idea, but you are not required to. I want you to listen to these 5 lectures. Just find the times in the video by scrolling through there. You are going to participate in the week 2 discussion about Salem. And so specifically what I want you to do is pick one of these questions and answer it. Your first post should be 150 words. And then I want you to follow up. Oh, did I do that wrong? Oh, no, you're right. I'm okay. So your first post, your answer to one of these questions is 150 words, and then I would like you to follow up to one of your classmates, and your follow-up should be at least 75 words. So make sure that your word counts are good there. I have these reflection questions for you to do. Please make sure to read the directions on those. You'll see for the first 8 questions, I want you to have at least 2 sentences written for each of these. And then for questions 9 through 12, I've told you specifically how many words I'm looking for you to have. So for number 9, 150 words. The same for number 10. I believe I wanted the same for number 12. And then for number 11, 120 words. So please make sure you're following those word guidelines as you're answering those questions. When you are ready to submit, you'll submit it through Turnitin right here. You'll have the quiz this week that'll open for you Wednesday at noon. And these are 2 videos that I put on here. They're recommended. You're not required to watch them, but they're really good videos that kind of give us an overview of the Pilgrims and also the colonists in the Chesapeake at the Jamestown colony in Virginia. So I think that helps kind of give you an overview of what I'm looking for you to do this week. If there are any questions, please let me know through email, and I look forward to seeing what you produce this week. Take care.